this is the same thing here. Screen Rant has, an article on here reviewing a video game. We can't criticize Screen Rant and their team and the person who actually wrote the review about whether or not the review is a good review or not. Come on.
So there's reviews for the game Black Myth Wukong have been released. This game is a couple days out. Have you guys heard about this game, first and foremost? Black Myth Wukong.
Heard about it, yeah.
Yeah. Just as a quick reference, this is the game that we're talking about. This is the review from IGN. Along the way, you're going to notice this game is filled with monkey men running around, and it's you follow a singular monkey man running around and beating the hell out of this. Yeah, it's like kind of Dark Soulsy. That's kind of it's a Souls-like. I think that's the descriptor of it. In this fictional, like, I don't know, Asian-inspired world, I guess. And it has been getting some banger reviews. I mean, people have been all about this. Look at that guy right there. That's some freaky ass deaky stuff right there. But the reviews to this have been really, really strong along the way. And you can see the reviews here from all across the board. You see gamers, I don't even know what some of these outlets are, but you see hundreds, perfect scores, 95,
wow,
93, 85, like really high scores across the way. Black Myth Wukong currently has an 82 over on Metacritic right now. So it's done very, very well, except for one outlet.
Oh boy.
Which Screen Rant gave it a 3 out of 5, which, hey, their experience may differ from everybody, right? And that's fine. Just because something's popular doesn't mean that you have to necessarily agree with everybody else. I get it. I hold no grudge when it comes to that stuff. But Screen Rant's review was put out. They gave it a 3 out of 5, as I said. And some real quick hits about this as we switch over and take a look at it. Their review, they have a quick TLDR along the way. Here's their review. A 3 out of 5. And you can see some of the pros. Combat is fluid and fun. Cinematography can be breathtaking at times. That's pretty
okay. It's a good
nice
game. Great.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Create great diversity in items and mechanics. So very good stuff, right? All things that you want from video games. This is some nice stuff here. But let's check out the negatives that they have here. Cons. Game performance is unpolished. Okay, that's fine. I guess everyone can kind of take their own thing. Lacking in inclusivity and lacking in inclusivity and diversity, and gameplay becomes repetitive over time. Just kind of squeezing that one in right there. Lacking in inclusivity and diversity. And here is their statement on this. It says, while my analysis and review of Black Myth Wukong remained focused on gameplay, it's important to mention the controversy surrounded the game studio and its reports of misogyny and sexism from developers. I'm sorry, just as a question for everybody. Why is it important to even mention the controversies, the quote-unquote controversies surrounding it? It has nothing to do with the game itself. It has zero to do with the gameplay along the way. They continue, it says, playing as a female gamer allowed me to notice issues surrounding inclusion and representation. As far as chapter 1 and 2, while characters are clearly fictitious and fantastical creatures, there was no female or feminine NPCs, enemies, or bosses present. The only exception, if you call it, quote, female, is a boss named Mother of Stones in chapter 2, which is nothing more than a still glowing rock with no abilities being guarded by other enemies. So that's where we're at with this. Now there's actually points in this review where this reviewer said that they would have given it a 3.5, but because there wasn't enough inclusivity and diversity, they actually knocked a 0.5 point off in the game. Gentlemen and lady, do you think that is fair?
No. Mm-mm.
Well, I'm curious about the world that it's depicting. Like,
Right.
if I watched Wonder Woman and complained that there weren't enough men in like the woman Amazonian tribe, like that would be fucking stupid, right? But like nobody complains about diversity in that case if it's all women, right? But if it's all men, oh, all of a sudden that's a problem. I am curious why there is, I guess, so little female NPCs. You'd think there'd be a few standing around with a quest or two, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a big deal to me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're right. And I think that's why? I don't know. Ultimately it's the designer's choice, right? Um does she like going back to what she said here, the idea of like there's no feminine NPCs, enemies, or bosses, right? So here's the thing. If they and allow me to play counterpoint to this, if only the enemies and bosses are female, then you have men beating up women as the bosses and enemies.
Yeah.
I can
So there's
actually do you one more. How do they
Please.
know what's feminine? How do they know what a woman is?
right. Please define that for me. Here, there,
Exactly.
Screen Rant writer.
It's just a giant circle.
Yes,
I saw a lot of body type 1, but no body type 2. It's weird.
there wasn't enough body type 2 in the game.
Yeah.
These
Unfortunately.
people only just complain because they think diversity and all these stupid inclusion words means like people of color or women. So when for some reason that's not included, they're like, "This isn't diverse." When obviously diversity originally meant diversity of thought, but these people don't have a brain, so oh well, I
Yeah.
guess.
So here we are. We have just more stuff here at the end. It says with the potential to have one of the best Souls-like games and portraying a beloved cultural gem of a novel, Black Myth Wukong missed any opportunities and has inherent issues that must be addressed and fixed to be considered a serious contender to all Souls-like. Should this be the case, I'd bump it up to a 3.5. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where like everybody likes this game, but there's always one. And I nearly put that in the title today. There's always one who complains about something. And I went in and you know what's funny about this is I looked at this earlier, and the person who did the review of this initially it had the reviewer's name associated with this review, but when you scroll down now, it just has Screen Rant team associated with that. They have removed the author's name of this.
Who was the Screen Rant author? Do we know?
I did see it earlier, and I pulled it up, and I closed the stinking window. But I'll tell you this: she's got them pronouns in those bio. I'll tell you that right now. So, yeah, and I think that goes back to when you see when you say "I" in a review, and you use that as an identifier. I did this, I said this, or I experienced this, and you change and you just present it as the Screen Rant team presented that review. There's an issue there. When you say I want to know who you are, so I can know your experiences along the way. To know more about you, because I think it says more about the reviewer than in general. Yes, there we go. Yep, here we go. It actually says on the bottom, it says the author's name has been removed for their safety.
Speaking of safety, no. Okay, that ties in perfectly because I had a little bit of digging on Screen Rant this morning, and just out of curiosity, because the most controversial game that came out was Hogwarts Legacy last year. They put at the very bottom Screen Rant, the whole J.K. Rowling is a known transphobe. We here identify with trans rights. Trans rights are valid. Here's a bunch of helplines for trans safety. So that's ironic considering, for the editor's safety, then they go and tie it back in with trans lives and all that. That's ironic. So Screen Rant has no validity for me or whatsoever. I pretend they don't exist.
When I see something like this, the author's name has been removed for their safety, right? Mm-hmm. That is such a cop out. Like what they're saying is when they say safety, and this goes back to the conversation point of the Xbox stuff, right? Talking online. If you're gonna put out a statement or a review about something, if you're going to say it in general, like you need to be able to be criticized. You are criticizing this game, right? But now you're asking to not receive that same criticism based off of your criticism of that game or that media. That's bullshit in the biggest way possible. I can't think of a better way to describe that.
Think about this. How many people here on YouTube will give their thoughts and opinions about a movie, a TV show, a video game? They'll come up and they'll make a YouTube video and they'll say how good it is, how bad it is. And people will judge the review on the reviewer, in addition to reviewing, believing whether or not the game is good or not. They'll take that person's input, whether or not they are worthy to actually be able to give that style of review. I mean, you take a look at, other YouTube channels out there that are, and people clamor on about them, but, this is the same thing here. Screen Rant has, an article on here reviewing a video game. We can't criticize Screen Rant and their team and the person who actually wrote the review about whether or not the review is a good review or not. Come on.
That's amazing.
If you write an article like this, you should be able to stand by your words, not just put it out there and then anonymize it. And then people are like, who the fuck wrote this? And then the actual author's like,
Yeah.
Like,
Coward.
it's silly.
And they're the same people who will criticize the YouTubers that are reviewing the games or movies while they'll hide themselves. Come on.
And the term Screen Rant team is so silly because like the whole point of a review team is that they're roughly on the same page when it comes to media, whatever they're reviewing, but all their opinions will differ slightly. Otherwise, why have a team? Why not just have one guy writing reviews? So like, and somebody writes a certain article, you want to know who it is and look at their past reviews. Because like, if you like somebody's reviews, that doesn't mean like you always agree with their review on something. But if they're consistent, there's value in that. It's like, okay, well, this guy doesn't like this game, but I did. And now he doesn't like this other game. I might like it, but I appreciate his input. Like sometimes it's really valuable to know exactly who wrote it.
And if they are, genuine with their reviews, even if you disagree with them, you can understand where they're coming from. And sometimes it's good to get an opposing viewpoint on a movie. Like, two reviewers who are usually consistent, they'll give a review. One may like the movie, one may hate the movie. It just means that like, why did this person hate the movie and why did this person like it? There's just, you can see the good, the bad, and the ugly out of it. But, whereas this is like, it's easily dismissible.
Yeah. At the bottom of their review, they do have the note here. It says, the studio behind Black Myth Wukong Game Science has previously been accused of fostering a toxic environment for its workers. In 2023, allegations include sexualized comments against women, misogyny, fat phobia, and more. More details can be found here. Now, I went to the article right here as you guys were talking about this, and this is from the beacon of video game journalism.
God. Here we go.
And you can see here, this is actually really funny. It says the courtesy, this is actually originally from an IGN, but it's rewritten for the gamer. Listen to some of this. This is great. It says IGN also verifies. Oh, here we go. In the report, multiple instances of Game Science employees make highly sexualized and sexist comments are shared. IGN verifies reports of job recruitment posters for Game Science bragging about friends with benefits perks in the workplace, and another poster allegedly reading, "Fatties should fuck off."
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Sorry, it's awesome. It's so funny. It's so funny. You should, John, if you can find a way to include that in your next video, that'd be really great. It says, while it has already been widely reported that the developer of Black Myth Wukong openly expressed that he doesn't want women playing his games, the report finds the source for this. It stems from a Weibo post from the game's lead artist Yang Kui, written in 2013. Okay, in 2000, so they're taking something from 2013, in which he suggests that women and men cannot enjoy the same games. The G spot for male and female games are fundamentally different. reads the post translated by IGN. This is not determined by the gaming environment, but by biological conditions. So that's seen as sexist. The idea that what he's saying is not the actual G spots. He's saying like the enjoyment for men and women in video games is different.
Yeah.
Like, tell me something that's not just fundamentally more pure than that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see a whole lot of men out there without pronouns in their bio just going out and playing Farmville. You know?
My wife loves Animal Crossing.
Right.
You know?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Like, these people are so blind to just obvious facts. They want to live in this insane world, man. It's nuts. So wow, there we go. Congratulations, Screen Rant, for giving the lowest score, dragging the overall score down to a little bit lower than what it would have been. So congratulations.
Samara Abedian is the reviewer.
I pull that up real quick one more time. I got it. I think I had them pulled up. And isn't it amazing? Like, the internet is undefeated, right? If people really want to find the reviewer, you will find the reviewer. And I felt, yes, this person was the senior gaming guides writer over at that outlet right there.